This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1194, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Minor.
What's happening?
We found him. He's back. And just down the street there in Nashville, our managing editor downtown, Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all. I'm actually not in Nashville.
No, you're not
today.
in Nashville. You're in Chicago right now. Sorry about that.
I am.
Okay.
Well, it's because it's Labor Day weekend. This show is the last show before the unofficial end of summer. So Emily is just going for it. Big blowout. She watches Summer House over on Bravo, and they have a big Labor Day bash every year. She's doing a Labor Day bash with her friends in Chicago.
Question. Is it as hot in Chicago as it is in Nashville? Because
It actually is really warm today, which is annoying because so many people are like, this is the perfect time to go to Chicago. And I think that's probably true, just not right now. Maybe I think it's supposed to get cooler after today, though. So I'll enjoy the cool weather later.
But traveling, do you see people who, this past weekend, they did a Sunday night football preseason game on NBC. And they had Mike Tirico and, the real crew on there. And I remember watching it thinking, I'm just going to tell my mind that this is a real Sunday night football game. Yeah, because I really like watching Sunday night football. And it doesn't matter that it's preseason. They got all the, they got all the personalities out. They're making it try to feel like a real game. And it didn't work. But I also will run into people and it's like 85, 88, 90 degrees. And I see the flannels coming out. And I see the fall apparel already start where it's like where I tried to will my mind into making myself care about an inconsequential preseason game between two of the worst teams in the league, Washington and New England. I see people willing the change of seasons with what they're wearing. Do you guys encounter that?
I wish you would try to wear a flannel in Nashville right now. You try to wear a flannel in Nashville right now, or you're going to die of heat exhaustion.
Listen, I am that person, though. After a certain, probably in September, even if I don't care what the weather is, I'm going to start wearing sweaters and sweatshirts and stuff. I don't care. It's my time to shine. Not really. I just don't want to I don't want it to be hot. And it's I convince myself if I wear warm clothes, it'll be colder.
Well, stay hydrated. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Emily wanted to help out her peers this week and wrote an article at relevantmagazine.com. Christian Autumn Girl Starter Pack, the 12 essentials you need to live your best fall life. And we are leaning hard into the thing Jesse said. Here's the clothes, here's your journal you need, here's the fall drinks.
Here's your scarf, your hat.
Because it's 85 degrees almost everywhere, and the girls they're getting their chunky knit sweaters out, and they're thinking that it's time for...
No, it's not 85 degrees everywhere. It's 100 degrees right now in Nashville. Right now as I'm recording this pod. Hold on, let me look. It's 98 degrees.
What a cool breeze.
No, there's no breeze. There's not a breeze. It's not a breeze. The breeze does not exist. It's just hot. It's just that.
Temperature is like a single person at a bar who's in their late 50s. It's like age, just a number. If you believe it that it's supposed to be cooler, then just will yourself.
This person at the bar that you're referencing doesn't realize that they're too old to be there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, age is just a number. Age is just a number. It's all about between the years.
I will say this argument never works on me because up until 2 years or last summer, I guess, really, I generally had the hottest summers ever because I was in Texas. Tennessee summers are warm. They are not hot to me because I think last year, it was the first year where there weren't multiple days in a row that it was 100 degrees. That's what I'm used to.
Well, they just set a record out in Phoenix that it's been over 115 for 30 plus days in a row. But the new record was the month of August. The low didn't drop below 100.
Nah, see, that's unlivable.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you live there. That's unlivable.
But that's what they're literally saying. Like they have like emergency cool shelters for the homeless where they're opening like public libraries and stuff. So you can't sleep, but you can sit there all night in the AC, stuff like that, because people are dying. It's
Wait
crazy.
a second, you don't talk about. So you can't sleep, but you can sit there.
Well, they don't want the library to become a shelter because they have shelters too. They're just at capacity. So they're opening other emergency facilities where there aren't beds and stuff. They're open 24/7 so you can get out of the heat.
No,
you know
all I was saying was if I've been in 115-degree weather all day and that AC hit me and it get down to about 85, I'm about to sit right on one of them bookshelves, hold my head back, and I'm gone. Like it's just, y'all just going to be mad at me because I'm going to be leaned up against a whole stack of Harry Potter books, gone.
I can't remember. I remember back in the day we went on it was a business meeting, and it was either in like Milwaukee or Minneapolis. It was somewhere
Minneapolis in the summer. Yeah.
Where in the summer it's very nice. It's like
lovely.
a nice, cool, it's lovely. Yeah. But you notice in downtown, all of the buildings are connected by these like skywalks. It's like
hamster tunnels. Yeah, hamster tubes
that are totally encased. You could get anywhere downtown, building to building, by walking above street level in climate controlled tubes because it gets so cold in the winter that you don't want to. If you got to go across, if you want to walk a couple blocks, you don't want to go outside to do it. I wonder if hot cities are going to start doing this too.
They should.
They really should. Why wouldn't they? Honestly. If you're in Phoenix, the thing about Texas heat is the Southwest has triple-digit horrible heat, but it is drier. It's still unbearable, but it is drier. Mm-hmm. Texas gets triple-digit horrible heat, and you add humidity to it. And it's like, that'll kill you. I mean, that's just awful. Because the South, like right now, people like talk about our terrible humid summers in Florida. It's 88 degrees right now. I'm not saying that's cold, but it's 88. Yeah, we got humidity. But I'll take 88 with humidity over 115 with no humidity. I don't know. Every place is different. But Texas is like the worst of all of it is my point.
Yeah. The nice thing about like the heat in Texas is like, or like something that I've just noticed is like, no one apologizes for sweating in Texas. Like here, it's like, if it's like, I don't know, like if I like get up from a seat or something and there's like sweat left behind, people are like, oh, sorry about that. In Texas, everyone's sweating. So like no one actually cares. And you just like, there's like no shame in how your body reacts to it.
No shame in the sweat.
When I think of this Christian autumn girl aesthetic with the oversized chunky sweaters and the big hats and the boots and all that, I think of Dallas. How are they dressing like that in Dallas if it's still so hot?
Oh, they're sweating underneath that. But pain is beauty. You got to suffer for fashion.
See, that's crazy. Imagine being a single dude, right? You know what I'm saying? It's the girl of your dreams. She drinking a pumpkin spice latte. She got on a chunky sweater, flannel under, black jeans, Ugg boots. And you go up and you say, "What up, girl? How you doing? I just want to read Proverbs to you right quick." And then when you read it to her, you give her a hug. It ain't nothing but back sweat on the back of the sweater. The back of the sweater is like a squishy sweater.
If you're in Texas, you're not shaming
a towel.
Right, now it goes from she being a fine Christian girl to the Sasquatch. You just
if you're in Texas, you're not ashamed of it. You're like, no, I get it because I'm sweating too. Like everyone's just sweaty.
I just want you to be unmodest and just wear a tank top until the season is over with. Like when we get to fall, then you put the Chucky sweater on. But I just don't want to hug the Sasquatch.
But Texas doesn't get fall. Like we only get fall for like maybe 2 hours a day, and then it gets hot again.
You retire some clothes because that scenario is the socially awkward equivalent of like getting a text from one of your buddies, like, "Hey man, I'm having all the guys over for Sunday night football tonight," and you're like, "Wait, isn't it week 3 preseason? Like, what are we watching here? Like, this isn't working." You just have to acknowledge this isn't working.
Well, there you go. Well, it is working. I don't know. I was going to say this show. I don't know. I can't. I got halfway into a segue and just bailed on it and literally had no idea how to stick the landing.
It is working. Coal miners, very hard work. Very hard work.
AC, look, AC, people that fix ACs, they're working very
HVAC.
hard at getting
HVAC
paid.
repairmen.
HVAC repairmen are getting paid
And they're
in
worth
2024.
every penny.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Well, we do have a great show in store for you coming up. Jesus Culture joins us. They've had a lot of changes in the last couple of years. Like some of the iconic people that we've known with Jesus Culture, like Kim Walker-Smith and Chris Kilala, aren't there anymore. There's a new generation coming up. So we talked to them. Don't miss that. Also, at the end of the show, we have your feedback, but stay tuned right now. Up next, it's Relevant Buzz.
Like this, I like you, and baby, that's a bad sign. 'Cause I've always been into the wrong guys. I get sucked in and flip upside down. Love always knocks me out. It feels like this could be the real thing. I need to run fast as lightning. Been looking for the one, but all I found is love always knocks me out.
You're listening to Jessica Doolin. The song is Love Always Knocks Me Down. Amen. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold.
Real quick, before we jump to the next segment, we mentioned HVAC repairmen being the real heroes out here. Real quick,
Doing God's work,
last summer, it was so hot in my house and I couldn't get the air to work right. And so I'm like, what's going on? So I called the HVAC repair person. Okay. He comes up, he inspects the unit. He determines that it's got to be something with the ductwork in the attic and maybe the ductwork developed like a hole in it and it's pulling in hot air that is pushing that recirculating through. He's like, but there's only one way for me to do that. I got to go up in the attic. So he opens the little attic door and it is a furnace in there. And he's like, sorry, man, it's too hot. I'm like, what do you mean it's too hot? Like, we can see the ductwork. We got to go. You got to inspect it. He's like, no. Too hot for me to go. And I'm like, well, who do I call here? Like, what is it? So we're just going to abandon? Like, we've identified the problem and we just determined it's too hot to fix. So he's like, all right, look, I will crawl in there, but you have to be my spotter. You got to make sure I don't pass out because of the heat. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. He goes and he starts crawling in there. And listen, it is the heat coming. But I remember thinking, like, if he does pass out, what is my move? Like, I can't go in after him. Then you got two people overheating in there. Like,
the Israelites taught us the Holy of Holies. You put the rope on the ankle, buddy. You just
put me in a very precarious situation. Like, what am I supposed to do, man?
You know what it is. If you didn't put the rope on the ankle, you was tripping.
I know. And then not only am I crawling into the heat that took him out, I got to pull back a passed out, a beefy HVAC guy. There's no way it's happening.
So what?
Wait, so
then
you fix the problem?
You just close the door, and a week later, Daddy, what's that smell coming from the hallway? And then you just
no.
Listen, it's a dangerous profession, and they know the risk.
Wait, is this your way of telling us that there's an HVAC man who's stuck in
your attic right now?
I feel like I'll get a good night's sleep for the first time in a year after confessing this. I've been haunted. like the telltale HVAC guy, not the telltale heart.
The dude's ghost is like turning the heat up in the he's like
He's haunting your AC.
He's like cutting the AC off in the summer.
I was out of town for a week and someone turned it to 30 degrees. This power bill's going to be off out of control.
Oh, man. All right. It's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, so big news this week. Chick-fil-A is launching their own streaming service.
What?
You guys saw this.
Wait, you don't know?
No.
Derek, you didn't see this going around?
No. Why?
Dude, we posted this on IG. We posted this everywhere. It was like, this is so weird.
Why?
Okay, listen. A lot of people, that was their first reaction was, what the heck does Chick-fil-A, like, what is their business getting into the streaming race? But they, there's been, Deadline reported it, that they are, quote, aggressively wanting to move into the streaming service. And so they're going to be making like family-friendly content. So think like funny game shows, animated shows, stuff like that. And it's just there's not a lot of details now, but this is apparently happening, and I'm excited to see where it goes with it.
What do they call it? Is it like Chick TV or something? Like
We don't know yet. Chick-fil-A didn't announce that Deadline broke the industry news, and so there hasn't been a big rollout yet or anything. But there's a couple of interesting things here. Number one, she's going to tell us some of the internet reaction because it was actually really funny what the internet did running with this news. But people are like, why in the world? But what people don't know is, you know how Atlanta is becoming Hollywood. It produces more films in Hollywood now. And there's a particular studio named Trilith where they shot all the Marvel movies. They shoot Family Feud. They shoot, I mean, like every major, it's the huge studio in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Owned by the Chick-fil-A founders.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, well, they partnered with a London studio and it went to another level, but they started, it was their vision years ago. Now, this isn't Chick-fil-A, the company owning the studio. It's the foundation owned by the family. Right. So it's just a way for them to invest in, Atlanta's economy, blah, 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 but making family-friendly content and stuff. That's what their vision was. And so then they partnered with a London-based studio and that Trilith and it, exploded. But yeah, they have the infrastructure. They shoot Family Feud at their studio, so it's like they can make this pretty cost effectively compared to other people.
But here's my question though, and maybe Emily, you'll answer this with the follow up. But like, is the business model to have a business that is independent, that I have to subscribe to a streaming service to watch this content? Or is it like an extension of Chick-fil-A marketing that I can just watch for free?
We literally were talking about that. We don't know. That's the answer.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. But
sure.
It would make total sense that if they provided a streaming service app integrated in there, whatever, and it's free, like Tubi or whatever, but it's presented by Chick-fil-A and it's like Chick-fil-A branding, it's just a marketing investment. Great. That makes total sense to me. But if I'm going to have to pay $9.99 to watch uplifting chicken content, I'm out. I'm not, who knows? We don't know what they're going to do.
It's time to give those cows a TV show. Like, that's what it is. It's time to give those cows a TV show.
That's been like my favorite part of like all this news is like the internet's reaction to all this is they're trying to figure out like what kind of content is Chick-fil-A going to come up with. And people are saying things like, a lot of cow shows. Like, I think my favorite, someone said, what if they did like an all cow remake of The Chosen? I would 100% watch.
I'm definitely watching that.
Or like a lot of people have been kind of making the joke of like, this almost sounds like something that would be a plot on like 30 Rock. Like Jenna tells Liz, like, I'm starring in a Chick-fil-A movie. There's just been
Chick-fil-A
like
original movie, Liz.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny. Like, who knows what's going to happen, but it's happening.
Two content ideas. One, I feel like they could have a whole vertical of inspirational college football movies, because I feel like people who like college football are big Chick-fil-A, especially like SEC country is big Chick-fil-A country.
Yeah, they have their own bowl game, don't they? The Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta?
Yeah, it's and then I feel like there has to be some superhero movie. And the plot is sort of like their version of Iron Man, where it's one of those kids with like iPads on both hands that while walking through and then like some sort of like lightning strike happens, or there's a meltdown in the fryer room, and the iPads become melded to their hands, and they are like some sort of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, we got to pitch our show. Too. We got to pitch our show about working at a Baptist church.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the perfect platform for that show.
Ooh.
Working at a Baptist church, like this is it. This is our time to shine. Cameron, make it happen.
Let's do it. I'll make some calls. I'm actually going up to Trilith in a couple months, so
make it happen.
I'm
Tell
meeting
them
with the
about our
Chick-fil-A
show.
brass. I actually will meet the people who are doing this, so I will
Tell them
pitch
about our show.
The Office. So a mockumentary like The Office about working at a church.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
it.
But they have to hire the Relevant Podcast cast. Otherwise, this is a no-go.
I just want to be Daryl. I want to be the diversity hire. Me and Shama. Just let us be the diversity hires.
So the entire church staff is white, but you're the associate pastor they brought in to show how diverse they are.
No, you know, black people don't get to be the diverse. You get to be the youth pastor. The youth pastor. Like, put me on that or men's ministry thing. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to get like that.
But you're on the
Or just
staff
a
page,
deacon.
and they
I'm
can show how diverse they are.
on the staff page. It's just like you get to watch the kids or college ministry. You know, you get to do college ministry.
All right, I got one more
There you
pitch
go.
for you, Cameron, when you take this meeting. Pitch
right.
the mockumentary for Derek and pitch this for me.
Okay.
I have no role in this. Again, I'm an ideas guy, not an executor. But you know those CNBC shows like The Prophet or like Bar Rescue where they go into a business and they fix it or attempt to fix it? They have like a business expert go in and try to fix it. So you go identify businesses that are running really inefficiently, right? Where things take way too long than they could. And then you unleash like 15 teenagers from a Chick-fil-A in there and let them
Fix the efficiency.
and make it more efficient.
Yes.
I mean,
love
they got 4 lanes they're working at a lunch hour.
And you just
that are
call it
30
My
cars
Pleasure.
deep.
It's
Yeah,
My Pleasure
My
is
Pleasure.
the name of the show. It's My
I
Pleasure.
just say we just put them in the government. Like, just get rid of everybody in the House and the Senate and put all Chick-fil-A staff there. I'm telling you, taxes will be down. Emily will be able to afford a house.
It's true.
Like,
Please.
we'll be up.
Imagine what they could do at the DMV. I mean, just
Right.
in and out,
Yeah.
in and out. Just boom. And
Yeah.
you have a
They
smile
could
on your
really-
face.
Cameron, you're going to
They
come
can
in
make
there
so many
loaded with
changes.
ideas. Okay?
Let's do it. I'm attending a different thing. It's just at Trilith, and the leadership of Chick-fil-A will be there. I'll just have to corner them awkwardly in the hallway.
I think you
Do that.
commandeer the meeting. That's the
Okay.
only call is
Right.
just announce that you have some things that are important to discuss and then go lock the door and stand in front of it and then start the pitches.
You have like a 50 PowerPoint slideshow of like so many different ideas and be like, we're not leaving until you greenlight at least 10 of these.
That's right. Done.
I think it'd
All right.
work. I think it'd be great.
What else do you have, Emily?
Yeah, moving on. There's some other big news that happened this week with the pro-life movement, actually, that we've been covering a lot at Relevant, and we just wanted to make sure everyone's kind of aware of. Really, over the last several months, there's been some big changes with Trump and his campaign on how their stance on abortion, their policy on abortion in a really big way. So first, they took off pro-life policies from the Republican platform over the summer. It's kind of done quietly, so I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that, but that did happen.
And it's the first time the GOP platform in 40 years since Roe v.
Yeah.
Wade did not have an anti-abortion plank in the platform. They just totally quietly just took it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like a really big shift, and people, kind of weren't sure why that happened, what's going on there. Then on Friday, Trump posted on True Social that, quote, his administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights. And then on Sunday, his VP running mate, J.D. Vance, said that Trump would not sign a national abortion ban into law, which is something that he had previously said he would do. And that's been a really big goal of the pro-life movement for years, is to nationally have a ban on abortion.
And Republican leadership has said, like Mitch McConnell and others, that if we can get the White House back to Republican, we will push forward a law to nationally ban abortion. And what Vance said on Sunday was Trump will veto that. If the Republicans try to push forward abortion restrictions, Trump will veto it. And then the Trump using the phrase women's reproductive rights on Friday really got a lot of uproar from a lot of Christian and pro-life leadership saying, what is going on here? We supported you because you were the pro-life, policy party. And now you're kind of basically turning your back on the things that you said you were going to do for us. So It's interesting.
A lot of people are just really confused why he's trying to take a more moderate position. And like we said, like some people have just been very vocal in their frustration and confusion. Like one person we saw was Lila Rose, who is the founder of the pro-life group Live Action. She tweeted, "Due to their increasingly pro-abortion position, Trump and Vance are stretching the lesser of two evils voting strategy to an untenable position. Without some indication that they will work to make our nation a safer place for preborn children, they're making it impossible for pro-life voters to support them." And then you have people like Marjorie Dannenfelser, who is the president of Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, who is pretty much saying like they're going to keep going regardless of Trump. And she said, "The cause is way bigger and younger than Donald Trump. It will shape the GOP beyond this Trump moment. Nothing will deter this movement because it is about saving lives and truly serving women." So we're just at like a really interesting point in this movement because, like we said, a lot of pro-life voters are just kind of feeling confused and disoriented about what's next for them and what the future of the pro-life movement can look like.
Puts the one issue voter in a pickle.
Yeah,
for sure. Because I posted a video on my homeboy DJ Mosky. He's Stevie Wonder's DJ. Stevie Wonder performed at the DNC. And I got a lot of Christians flooding the comments on my post talking about like, how could you support, the Democrats because of abortion? So now it's like those guys, that is their main stance on why you don't support the Democrats. Like that's it. That's the thing. Yeah. So if Trump takes that off the table, I don't see the strategy here. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Well, the only thing I could see coming out on the pro-life side that it would be like a positive is right now the strategy to reduce the number of abortions in this country has been restricting or limiting access to. But oftentimes there is with the prohibition of anything, there's often like a counterintuitive inverse relationship with like, look at the prohibition of alcohol, right?
Right.
The prohibition of alcohol didn't stop the consumption of alcohol. It actually forced it underground. Organized crime in this country did not exist. Interstate crime, the concept of interstate crime between that are committed in two states did not exist until prohibition. And you forced something underground. Same thing with, I mean, you could look at a number of like substances and drugs, whatever it is. There's oftentimes an inverse relationship between restricting access to something and creating a demand for that thing. So I'm not saying that shouldn't be the strategy, but what I'm saying is now it's going to force more people in the pro-life movement to look at how can they limit the need for, and find ways to provide for young mothers or inject money into the foster system or adoption and all these other solutions if they don't have a candidate that's willing to restrict access entirely.
Two things. One of the things you said is very true, and people don't realize that statistically, and this is provable, look it up, Google it, that the rate of abortions, number of abortions dropped under every Democratic administration since Roe v. Wade and went up under every Republican administration to make your point. Wow. But to bring home Derek's point, one of the tweets that caught our eye and is in one of our articles that we posted about this kind of said the same thing. Emily, can you read that?
Yeah, Pastor Ben Marsh said, "People who did not grow up in evangelical political spaces have no idea how disorienting it is to be told for 30 years, A, you could not vote for a morally bad person, and B, you had to vote for a pro-life candidate, only to now be told you have to vote for a pro-choice felon."
Woo!
Yeah.
That's a bar.
And I think that really sums up just kind of how a lot of people are feeling, and that's why it definitely caught our eye.
I don't want to belabor the point. We got to keep the show moving. We have another item here in Buzz, but my gut is this, that pro-life voters and Christian voters will feel used probably after all this, and that the candidate that they threw unbridled support behind, maybe didn't share their conviction. He just maybe used them to get in office, and they will feel disenchanted. They'll feel left out. My gut is after this, a new GOP will arise that will be more conservative. It'll be more pro-life. It'll be more fiscally conservative. Paul Ryan's, Mitt Romney. I think, values, character, all those things will probably become a major talking point moving forward. I think some pundits have said, Trump changed everything, and now you're going to have more extreme versions of Trump, in the next generation, like DeSantis and whatever. I feel like the pendulum is going to swing another way, and that Christians aren't going to be duped twice. It's like, I think they're going to say, like, share our values or we're not going to support you, kind of thing.
That's why character should be something that's important, not just words or, promises, because those things don't mean anything if the person saying them has a pattern of not telling the truth. It like character should be the starting point, not the end point. And too many people are like, oh, well, look how smart this person is at that. We'll fix the character. If the character's broken and it's not there's not integrity behind it, then that's like I said, that should be the starting point, not the end point.
In the last presidency, though, Trump did give those people everything they wanted. Supreme Court justices, all those different things. That's why this is confusing to me. Like, this is extreme. This is either desperation or like, I don't know. It's very confusing.
I think it's honestly, he's like, I can show them. I gave them what they wanted. And now I don't need their vote. And he's looking at the polls that he beats his opponent on economy and border security and blah, blah, blah. But the one where it's like a 20-point flip where the other party gets more support is women's issues and reproductive rights. And he's like, well, I need some of that percentage back. So he's trying to go to the middle, knowing that the Christians are going to vote for him regardless. So it's like, my thing is just like moving beyond this to the next season of politics. I feel like Christians and pro-life advocates will probably say, never again. We're going to like vote true pro-life candidates into office or not. And they're not going to let the GOP become a pro-choice party. They're just not. I guarantee. Anyway. All right. Wrapping things up, Emily.
Okay. Jesse was talking about, trust. And that actually is a really great segue to my last buzz item that I want to bring, because someone trusted something and it got them fired. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but last week there was a new trailer for this upcoming movie called Megalopolis. It's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. It's kind of gotten some negative reviews already. And so the marketing team at Lionsgate was trying to get ahead of that. And so they came up with this idea for, let's make a trailer and use negative reviews of other movies of Coppola from the past that critics kind of just got wrong the first time around, but they've become masterpieces. Like, so they were using influential quotes from negative reviews about The Godfather or Apocalypse Now. This is a great marketing strategy.
It is a good strategy. Like the early, his stuff is so groundbreaking. People don't understand it originally or at first, but in time, the true genius reveals itself and it becomes an all-time classic.
But even that strategy was first employed by David Lynch. Like his films were often marketed that way. Like even that strategy is derivative. But anyway,
well, for David Lynch, it worked. This movie, it didn't work because all of the quotes were actually fake. Because it turns out the marketing person at Lionsgate, it's pretty much confirmed they used AI to come up with these quotes.
Oh my gosh! They asked ChatGPT for all the negative quotes, and ChatGPT made them up. Oh my gosh!
Yep. Exactly. And
it's attributed them to Variety and New York Times and all. Yeah.
Because Vulture was the first ones that caught it, because they quoted like a critic from Vulture saying something negative about one of Coppola's previous movies. And the writer was like, I never said that. Like these people are alive. They know their work. And this is such an easily misprovable thing. And it's pretty much confirmed. Like Variety, they asked ChatGPT, like, come up with negative reviews for Coppola. And it was almost word for word the exact same quotes that were used.
That's absolutely Gen Z.
Somebody
from Gen Z had AI do their homework.
They didn't bother to look it up themselves. They just went to ChatGPT. That is wild.
Like, here's the thing. If you're going to cut corners at work, that's your choice. But make sure you're not cutting every corner. Like, you do need to... if you want to use ChatGPT, that's your choice. But just do a smidge of fact checking.
I have a theory, though.
Just a smidge, not even a lot.
I have a theory because this wasn't like an inside thing. They hired an outside marketing consultant that they have now fired, who's kind of responsible for this. My theory is, we've all worked in media for a long time. It's not uncommon if you have like a client, like let's say it's an ad in a magazine or a podcast ad, that you mock something up really quick as like a proof of concept. Like here's roundabouts how, and I could see using AI for the proof of concept. What I think is they went into the meeting and they used AI just as like, this is the idea for the campaign.
Yep.
And some high level exec is like, I love it. Don't change a thing. And they're like, oh, all right, let's just hope nobody notices. I don't think it was intentional from the gate.
I told Emily the exact same theory, but I don't think it was like I hope they don't find out. I think it was an initial concept thing, like you just said, got pitched. They loved the pitch and just moved forward from copywriting to design to whatever. And nobody said, let me check the copy. They just assumed that the initial pitch was accurate.
Or 4D chess. They knew all this was wrong. And this movie no one was going to watch it.
Wow.
They knew all of this was wrong.
Wow.
And now we're talking about it.
Yep. Yeah. The anti-marketing.
You cannot put that past
Dadgummit.
somebody that clever, bro.
They got
I
us.
liked this way more when I thought it was the intern just pitching a concept and nobody caught it.
I still think it's because like I've written articles on before, and my first draft, I'll like write in a quote, right?
Yeah,
and knowing, all right, I want to have something round about that quote to fill this space, right?
A quote that kind of says this. Yeah,
exactly. And I could see a scenario where one of those inadvertently don't get replaced by the real thing. I'm still giving that the kind of benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so dangerous that you make up quotes. I literally will write the word in all caps, quote here, so that I know.
That's what I do. I write quote here and I'll make it red.
Because I'm nervous that I'll make up a quote and forget I made it
this
up.
This is a marketing campaign, so they know that people are gonna look up the quotes. You can't tell me with all these smart people that nobody thought, somebody's gonna look up the quotes. Like the person that did the ad didn't say, hey, these are all fake.
But again, the quotes I would insert is like, it would be something that was like not particularly revealing. It would be something from like an expert that, I've seen their work and I know they'll say something around the bouts of, statistically, this has been a proven thing, so-and-so said. And then you're like, that I forgot to replace my filler with,
Emily, just real quick, new project. If you could go back and fact check, proof every article Jesse wrote for the 12 years,
as soon
just
as he
to make
admitted
sure.
he made up quotes and drafts, I jot that down.
Looking back, Emily, that's probably a pretty solid move because I did very few interviews and I was assuming someone else was putting those in the stories.
I love it.
We had multiple editors. One was permanently assigned to Jesse just to come behind him and fix all of his quotes that he made up.
Like I said, it wasn't like the revealing ones. It was one that was I needed like Stitch. You guys know like Stitch.
There's no
quotes.
point in saving yourself now.
Yeah, that's what. Well, people don't know. That's why he left. He's running from the liability that he left for us to clean up.
You're a fake quoter, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
harsh words,
bro.
I'm saying when you're writing a draft, you put in unverified things like numbers or like, all right, I need a quote here that says this. I stand by my word.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Relevant Buzz. You can check out those articles and a lot more over at relevantmagazine.com. All right. Thanks, Emily. Stay tuned. Up next, Jesus Culture joins us. You're listening to Peach Pit. The song is Magpie. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth. Creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose The Barbarian Way. Available now, wherever books are sold. Well, today we're joined by Derek Johnson and Marie Elizabeth from Jesus Culture. This year, Jesus Culture is celebrating their 25 years in ministry. There's been a lot of changes since the beginning. We sat down with Derek and Marie to talk about that journey, and we ended up having a pretty important conversation about how to stay connected to the church and serve even through changing seasons. Here's Emily's conversation with Jesus Culture.
I'll trust in God, my Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail.
Well, Jesus Culture is turning 25 this year, and there's just been so many changes since it began. You know, there's been 2 church plants and conferences and so many albums. And I'm just curious, what is next for Jesus Culture? What does the future look like?
Yeah, I mean, that was part of even, our senior pastor, Banning, has shared this several times, but he said he felt like the Lord had told him if there was going to be longevity in what we were doing, it inevitably had to have a local expression. Somewhere we had to kind of move out of just the conference space and into, well, how are we raising up and discipling people in what we've seen the Lord release in our lives, just the freedom and the breakthrough that we were encountering in worship, or the freedom that we were experiencing in God. And, I think we say those terms, we kind of throw them around. We're like, I mean, like the freedom that we were experiencing in our personal lives and in our families and in our marriages and in our walk, and an actual spiritual health that we were walking in because of what we were seeing in worship and in the Word. And so I think for us, now having 2 churches where that's actually being walked out, the beautiful thing is especially as it pertains to worship, it's like, well, now there's been kind of a whole new wave of worship leaders who've come in, and they're there serving just in the trenches of local church ministry, like doing a Tuesday night prayer room set that goes on for 2 hours, or, jumping in to serve the church on the Sunday mornings, and us doing the practical parts of church, but while also trying to stay, I think, really just sharp in our focus spiritually. Well, why do we do this? And why do we worship? And even how do we steward what the Lord's given us with the influence that we've had in worship? Is it just to put out another popular song and hope it does well? It's like, no, we want to move the church. We want to see people have revelations of who Jesus is, and that would awaken worship in them. And so what feels really beautiful in this season is, well, we're doing that in a very, very localized setting. And then from that, we get to capture stuff and even feature new worship leaders who are coming into the environment, and then get to share that with people and watch that resonate. But I think there's a beautiful level of authenticity in what we're doing. And it's even kind of been our goal in some of the projects that we're doing. Is the one that we just released, is this stuff was coming out of our local church. This is coming out of it was, some of the songs were from a Sunday set. Some of the songs were from our youth conference. one from our pastor's conference. And so there were just these different moments where we're in the room with hungry people wanting to encounter God, and we hit record and got to share that. And in all reality, that's a lot closer to the original template of this ministry anyway. We're just in a room, encountering God, hitting record and sharing it. So, and I think, that's where we started. And I think that's also the future of this thing, that we want to continue to share that. We want to continue to put that out there, while at the same time bringing in some of the newer worship leaders who are just in our midst. I mean, Marie's such a phenomenal example of someone who she's in our church, and she's not just around to be on some album or a project. Like, she's there navigating the Sundays, the Tuesdays, she's served in our young adults ministry. She serves in our youth ministry. So there's so much that happens in the unseen, that it's such a beautiful gift when we get to share a project like this, and more people get to see even, the gift for worship and the anointing for worship on Marie's life. But I'm like, that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? She's doing stuff way over here in the unseen. But I think that should be the life of worshipers. That's exactly what it should look like. And so, I think we're kind of on that mission for sure.
Right now I feel like there's such a big conversation happening with how can we serve our churches in a really healthy way. And since you both are so involved in ministry, I would love to kind of get your opinion on that. Like, do you have any advice for someone who is serving in their church, but they're feeling maybe burnt out or just overwhelmed from quote unquote doing church all the time?
I mean, it is challenging, right? Because I do think there's something happening in our culture where people are trying to figure out, well, how do I make sure that I take care of myself and I don't overexert myself and I don't end up stressed out and all of that? And I would just say, I don't totally think that that's like a calendar issue. I don't think that that's like, oh, I've overscheduled myself and now I'm stressed out. I think for most of us, if we're honest, especially in ministry, that's a devotion issue. It's like, well, I'm constantly going out and I'm pouring out in these settings, but if I'm honest, the well that I have with Jesus is not super deep. And so it doesn't take too many, if we're just using worship as an example, I'm like, every time I'm leading worship, I'm leaving feeling drained or like I overexerted myself. And I would just say, we probably need to get back and make some more time for that secret place, so that it feels like when we get up to lead, we are giving out of overflow. Because I know for myself, and I've been in this for 20 years, probably leading worship multiple times a week for 20 years. And it's amazing that at times when my intimacy with Jesus is really solid, I could have the busiest weeks of my life and not feel super stressed about it. And then at times where I'm like, my relationship with the Lord was feeling pretty thin. And then I go out and I lead, and then that feels heavy or it feels hard. And especially like there's a practical part, but we all know this. So if you're leading worship, you're like, I already felt kind of thin, and then I went and led, and the set was awkward and it was hard. And there's just the reality of that you could walk away just like, I've never been so discouraged in my life. But even there, I would say it's like, that's the perfect time to end that set and get in the car and connect with Jesus. You go, oh, that felt hard, Lord, but what do you say? And if we're tuning into that, God's probably going to say something like, I'm proud of you. Thank you for serving my church. You're being faithful. It's those things. So, but worship fundamentally is about sacrifice. So there should be a part of when we're stepping up to lead, when we're stepping up to serve our church, if it's not convenient, that's kind of a good thing. It should be the thing that we're going, that's a gift I give to the Lord. It's not even ultimately to my church. Lord, here's my offering. Here's my sacrifice. You have to do that with wisdom. But I do think we should probably lean more towards that way than being worried about, have I scheduled my me time this week? Your me time should probably just be Jesus time, and it will probably fix a lot more than the other time. So if that makes sense. Yeah.
I was kind of in a season where I was in a lot of ministries, and it got to the point where I'm so like loved by my church, and that they pulled me aside and they said, hey, like you're doing a little bit too much, and even though I loved being in like youth ministry and doing young adults ministry, and I was doing Sundays and I was doing Tuesdays and I was doing all these things. And it's nice to have all those volunteers. I still had a church that cared enough about me that was like, hey, we love that you're able to help in all these areas, but like, we just want to make sure you're okay. And I kind of took a step back, and I asked, like, I just like thought, I was like, Lord, am I asking you where is it that you want me? Because I feel like we can just be like, oh, we're here and we're here, and serving is good and leading worship is good and filling in the holes is good. But it's like what Derek was saying, it's like, you do need to create space in your schedule practically, like to have those moments where you're filled and you're spending time in the secret place. And so I feel like just asking the Lord, it's like, Lord, where do you want me in this season? And then just knowing that you'll have grace from the Lord and from people in your church, that it's okay to just say no, and it's okay to step back in some ministries, if you're doing too much. I was doing so much, and so I had to step back, and that that was sad for me. And but now I'm just more balanced, and I'm able to create more space to just be more filled. And I'm still serving a lot, but I'm not overexerting myself, and it's just so much healthier that way. So.
It's a gift that's freely given. Let me tell you, it's only by the blood. Does anybody wanna be holy, righteous, purified, spotless? Let me tell you.
That was Jesus Culture. They've got a brand new album out called Sounds from the House that you have to go check out. So it's out now. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback.
That's my floor. I'm coming back to the party, and I want more. So open up for me, life's a chore. We're floating above the lobby, that's my door. I let it open me.
You're listening to Magdalena Bay. The song is That's My Floor. Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's Soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. All right, it's time for your feedback. Last week, we asked you what your favorite weird niche trend that you follow on social media is. Jesse got talking about boat ramp talk and other weird
Stick
like
Nation.
Stick Nation, Stick TikTok,
right.
where people like just post the pictures of awesome sticks they find. Jesse has a really weird algorithm, but we want to know what other weird niche algorithm trends end up in your feed. You hit us up on X @Relevant Podcast. Here's a few of our favorites.
Shout out to George. My man George is obsessed with real, not the fake, real Nashville hot chicken. And it's a group called the Fraternal Order of Hot Chicken. And I've not joined this group, but George, I think I may.
Like, can you imagine logging in and it's Just nothing but hot chicken combos. Like,
Sounds like a great day to meet.
I think the funniest one, Sean submitted that his favorite is historical sandwich maker reviews. And apparently it's a guy who just literally reviews historical sandwiches. Like, that's what I mean when I want like a weird niche trend, because I've never looked up a historical sandwich once in my life.
what is a historical sandwich?
Yeah, I need help.
That's the thing. I need to follow this account to find out, because it's like, I didn't even know this was a thing.
What, like back in the 1800s, they used sassafras a lot or something? Like,
or like, how far back in history are we talking about?
yeah,
You know?
ancient sandwiches?
Yeah, it look like, if you look at his account, it's like he basically finds recipes from like over 100 years ago or something like that, and makes these these sandwich recipes and reviews them.
But
amazing.
Ben Stroop, like, this is what I love. Ben's like, I follow like the Dole Men's Club. It's fascinating. Look at really boring men. Death Stares is hilarious. But he said my TikTok algorithm has, for some reason, brings me a stream of home inspectors. It's really weird.
Hey, I need to hop in that because I need some help buying a house.
I'm deep in the HVAC world too.
Like how to pull large men out of your attic, that kind of TikTok. Yeah.
You know what one I got? You know what rabbit hole I got is this guy who goes like door to door at overgrown yards. You know?
Yeah.
And he sets up time lapse cameras.
Abandoned houses. Yeah.
He sets up time lapse camera, and I don't know what it is so satisfying of watching this guy zip around with a weed whacker and lawnmower and like 50 speed, and you get the satisfaction of the before and after. That's a whole nother one. I got to imagine the home inspector one's kind of. Like
I do love ones like that. Like I'll get like rug cleaner videos where people clean like dirty rug. Like there is something about it just kind of like scratches your brain in the best way.
Yeah, I had a song called Clean come out a couple years ago, and I was promoting it, and I stumbled into Clean Talk. If you've ever been on Clean Talk,
I've been there.
It's crazy. I saw this one woman put 5 different chemicals on a bathtub. I was like, she's going to pass out. Like all of these fumes. This
they
can't
never
be
use
healthy for her.
gloves.
Never. And she was using Comet and then the scrubbing bubbles.
Oh, yeah.
Like Comet alone is crazy. But then you mix that with the scrubbing bubbles and bleach. Like that's meth. She made meth. Like
in the year of our Lord 2024, why anybody's still using Comet like it's 1984 baffles me. We have better options
it's like
now.
$1.25.
Real quick, along these lines, I don't know if you guys have ever been on the oddly satisfying Reddit thread.
Yes.
no,
The power wash videos that will show up sometimes are just glorious. You look at some old stained up driveway and a guy just out there doing pattern, and it's pristine when he's done. It makes you just feel good. Power wash
my steps.
Yeah.
I love it. I borrowed a power washer to do this. I'm buying a power washer. My steps
Start
will no
recording
longer. Yeah, and I'm about to get paid.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I pressure wash my driveway. I had a company come out one time and they charged way too much. And I was just like, I want to do this. And so I was too cheap. So I just started doing it. But it's really satisfying because you literally, it's like methodical and it's slow. And
Going back to the
great.
Clean Talk videos, sometimes I watch a few of those in a row whenever I need to like get motivated to clean my own apartment. Because I'm like, let me just watch these people do it. And I'll be like, you know what? I should do the same as them. And it kind of works. Little pro
Just
tip
don't
for
use
ya.
Comet. Just please.
I do
don't
not have
use
Comet in my house. Don't worry.
The Comet is how people turn into mutants. Just don't use it.
I'm all for it. Pro comment here.
Well, there's more where that came from. You can go check it out. But be careful because I think just reading the comments, your algorithm's going to know it,
gonna
and
be
you're
so
going to
messed
get all
up.
this stuff infused into your feeds, whether you like it or not. So a lot of mowing videos are going to be showing up in y'all's feeds now. All right, it's time for this week's
Editorial question of the week.
We said earlier that Chick-fil-A is launching a streaming service, and I coincidentally am going up to a meeting at the movie studios that they're involved with, and we have an opportunity in the hallways to maybe pitch some ideas to the Chick-fil-A brass. So hit us up with your ideas for programming for the new Chick-fil-A streaming service, and maybe we will trap some executives in November and pitch it to them. Hit us up on X at Relevant Podcast or wherever you see us post this on socials.
I only see this as like a positive thing, you know, like I can't imagine the Chick-fil-A execs would be mad about 100 different show ideas that they didn't ask for.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you for the free content. Well, many thanks to Derek Johnson and Marie Elizabeth from Jesus Culture for joining us today. Make sure to check out Jesus Culture's new album, Sounds from the House. It's out now wherever you get your music. Also, make sure to check out the new issue of Relevant. Issue 115 is available now. You can read all of the content for free at relevantmagazine.com. Just click on the magazine tab. And if you want the beautifully designed digital magazine, you can get it with Relevant Plus. Plans start as low as $250 a month. You get the magazine, you get ad-free unlimited reading at relevantmagazine.com, and you get an ad-free version of this podcast plus more. All the info is right there at the site. It is the best way to experience our content. All right, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great Labor Day weekend, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I feel like I'll get a good night's sleep for the first time in a year after confessing this.
Relevant Podcast Network.